Kneel before Zod. 40 years after its release, Superman 2 is still probably the consensus best Superman film of all time. Is that because this film is actually that good, or is it because the other 5 Superman movies are just lousy? I probably already pissed off every Superman fan alive, but let's talk about it. Welcome back to Comic Power. I'm your host, Comic Killer 72, and this video is a special report. And today we're going to look at why is it so hard for Warner Brothers to get Superman right in the movies. Please subscribe to this channel and click on the notification button as well. It will remind you when new videos drop. Alright, let's get right into it. Superman needs very little introduction. He was first introduced in Action Comics #1 in 1938, which kicks off the golden age of superheroes, and he's the archetype for every superhero after him. Batman is probably the most popular superhero of all time, but Superman is the most important. People who never picked up a comic book in their whole life know that his alter ego is Clark Kent. He's from Krypton. His girlfriend's name is Lois Lane. He works at the Daily Planet, and his weakness is kryptonite. Basically, Superman is to the comic book industry what Ford Motor Company is to automobiles. The most popular superheroes have appeared in comic books, in animation, radio shows, and shorts before actual movies for over 80 years. Here's George Reeves, one of the first early Superman to appear in live action. It looks pretty goofy by today's standards, but it was pretty awesome in its day. So when it became time for a superhero to headline an actual feature film, of course Superman got the nod. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at all 6 completed solo Superman films, the one project that was in production but never came out, thank God, and the 3 team-up films briefly, so he has 9 appearances in live action in the movies. First, a little background information. Warner Brothers had bought out DC Comics in the late 1960s, so they owned the property. And the people at Warner Brothers have never been geniuses. I'm one of their biggest critics. They're not exactly geniuses knowing that this would work in movies. Their hand was forced by Fox, who had a big hit with their science fiction action film called Star Wars in 1977. So their competition, Warner Brothers, looked around and said, what do we have for science fiction action? Oh yeah, we got Superman, don't we? So they greenlit a Superman movie, cast a charismatic upcoming actor named Christopher Reeve, who was great for the part, and Superman was born and made his debut in the movies in 1978. It was directed by the late Richard Donner, and it was a huge hit. Margot Kidder was very good as Lois Lane, and Gene Hackman played an excellent Lex Luthor. The bar was set real low because this was actually the first superhero movie in a feature. There was no CGI at the time like we have today, so they had to make him fly and make it look believable. If they could do that, then the movie would work. There's no supervillains in this, it's just Lex Luthor causing trouble. It's worth going back and watching for nostalgia purposes. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. Then there came the sequel in 1980, and as I mentioned before, it's probably the best Superman movie ever made. It raises the stakes in terms of supervillains, in which General Zod and his henchmen are bust out of the Phantom Zone by circumstances. And they have powers that are similar to Superman's. They arrive on the moon and kill some astronauts and then make their way to Earth to conquer it. And Superman winds up defeating them, but he doesn't use this as strength. He has to use his cunning and his wit as well. Something you don't see from future Supermen who are dumb as a rock. For example, Superman is smart enough in Superman 2 to take the supervillains away from populated centers so it won't kill civilians and cause collateral damage, has them follow him to the Fortress of Solitude, which makes sense. Hint, hint. Man of Steel. So Superman 2, I thoroughly enjoy it. It's worth watching. I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. They don't have the CGI to make it look the way you expect to by modern standards, but it's worth a good nostalgia look. And the phrase kneel before Zod has become a cottage industry of memes and all types of stuff. I never get tired of that phrase. It's probably the most quotable phrase from a Superman movie ever. And that brings us to Superman 3, which might be the worst Superman movie ever made. It involves some nonsensical plot in which Richard Pryor plays some type of computer genius, and Richard Pryor was on cocaine, but apparently the people who thought this was a good idea at Warner Brothers to cast him in this movie were also on cocaine. Why is he dressed up like a general? None of this makes sense. This is not worth your time. 1 star out of 5, and I'm being generous. Do not see this crap. And that brings us to the 4th and final appearance of Christopher Reeve as Superman in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. If it wasn't for Superman 3, this would be the worst Superman movie, but Superman 3 is so bad that it makes this one look like The Godfather. It revolves around plot in which Superman is going to de-arm the whole world and make it nuclear free. And there's a villain in it called the Nuclear Man, and he looks very campy, like a reject wrestler from the 1980s WWF. And the special effects ironically got worse instead of better, and the fight coordination is pretty lousy. When they fight, it looks like sock puppets. It's a terrible movie. It's not worth your time. I give it 1.5 out of 5 stars, and I'm being generous. So the first 4 quartet movies of Superman are just like the first 4 quartet of Batman movies. The first 2 Superman movies are pretty pretty good, and then you change directors and you go campy, and part 3 and part 4 are horrible. They repeated the same mistake with Batman. The first 2, directed by Tim Burton, are pretty good, and then part 3, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, are absolutely atrociously horrible. It's like Warner Brothers never learns from its mistakes. It's an easy target to lampoon. And that brings us to the worst disaster of all time for something that technically never happened. The project called Superman Lives. The cocaine-addicted imbeciles at Warner Brothers had discovered that, hey, we have messed up Superman. We need to fix this. So they brought in Tim Burton to try to do that. But the problem is, someone thought that Nick Cage would make a good Superman with this bad mullet and this awful looking mock-up costume. This almost happened. This was in pre-production. This is a disaster, a tragedy of the levels of man, this is just bad. Well, it actually never happened. The project died, and thank God it didn't come out. The late indie director John Schnepp made a documentary about this called The Death of Superman Lives, where he breaks down how this went in production. So that documentary and breaking down this process is definitely worth seeing. I'll give you a link in the description. So that brings us to the 2000s, and Warner Brothers is still trying to find out a way to fix their Superman property because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And they think they're clever by laying it leak in another movie that they're interested in a Batman versus Superman story. In the Will Smith movie I Am Legend, you can see a Batman vs. Superman movie logo in the background. It's our future, but his past. And what they decided to do wasn't as bad as what Superman Lives was going to be, but they tried to go back to the past nostalgia of the Richard Donner movies and gave us Superman Returns in 2006. It was directed by Bryan Singer, who came over from the X-Men films, and they recruited a new actor named Brandon Routh. In terms of tone and look of the character, it appeared that they were trying to do sequels of the Christopher Reeve version, revolving around some nonsensical plot with Kevin Spacey playing Lex Luthor. It wasn't a horrible movie. It had some good scenes like that bullet bouncing off of his eye, but it wasn't great either, and most audiences found it pretty boring. They had an opportunity to bring us a new Superman villain that we never saw before in live action like Brainiac, but they failed to do so. The film made $391 million at the worldwide box office, but on a budget of $270 million. A film has to make 3 times its budget to make a profit because you got to figure in the theaters get their cut, taxes, marketing, and other expenditures. So this film bombed, and I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. So once again, what to do now with Superman? 2008 is a very big year because Christopher Nolan launches the second of his Batman movies with The Dark Knight, which is the first comic book movie to make $1 billion, and Marvel releases Iron Man, which is a big hit as well, and starts the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And they keep on rolling with hit after hit, and they bring it all together with The Avengers, which is the first movie not named Batman in the comic book format to make $1 billion. Warner Brothers competition Disney bought out Marvel in 2009, and making truckloads of money. Warner Brothers wants to make trucks load of money. They have Batman, but they want to do a connected universe the way that Marvel is doing. So in 2009, they look around and say, well, we can't use Batman. Superman, we still don't know what to do with it. Wonder Woman, we can't do a superhero movie with a woman. We all know that superhero movies led by a woman don't make money. They will never make money in the future. It's completely preposterous to even think of that thought. So they choose to go with Green Lantern, and we know how that turned out. So what to do now? Green Lantern didn't work out. You're afraid to do Wonder Woman. You're afraid to do The Flash. Batman's tied up with Nolan. And Disney's Marvel movies are kicking your butt at the box office. So Nolan finishes his trilogy with the Batman movies in 2012. So DC is now ready to do their connected superhero universe and punch Marvel back in the face. And think about this, DC has the advantage of the Mount Rushmore of comic book characters. Of the 4 people on that list, they have 3 of them: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. The one Marvel character on that list is Spider-Man, and Marvel does not own the movie rights to it. Sony does. And at the time, Marvel didn't own the X-Men rights either, so DC owns the rights to all their characters, so they have all the advantage. So DC is going to start off their cinematic connected universe with Superman and get it right this time, correct? Right? They cast British actor Henry Cavill to play Superman. He looks like a great Superman. And they bring in Zack Snyder of Watchmen and 300 fame to direct. This is 2013. The last 2 Batman movies made $1 billion. The Avengers movie for Marvel made $1 billion. So Superman obviously must make at least $1 billion, right? Not quite. It makes $668 million on a $225 million budget. I mean, seriously, that's Doctor Strange money. So what went wrong? Well, I don't think people connected with this dark version of Superman. Would the Superman they know impale someone's truck because he was pissed off with that guy? Would the Pa Kent that we know tell his adopted son to let some kids die so he could keep his secret identity? Would the Superman we know fight a villain in the middle of a crowded city instead of taking him somewhere else to avoid civilian casualties? Would the Superman that we know kill a villain to stop him? Would he find some other way? And would the Superman that we know destroy some multi-million-dollar satellite that the government was tracking him with just because it annoyed him? And did anybody in the room at Warner Brothers think maybe Zack Snyder is not the right guy for Superman? He makes hard R action horror type movies. He's never made a PG-13 movie in his life. Is he the right guy to do this? They didn't ask that question, did they? Think about it. Has any studio ever asked Quentin Tarantino to make a PG-13 film? It's just not who he is. They should have knew better, but of course they don't, because Warner Brothers has no idea what the hell they're doing. In Iron Man, Tony Stark became Iron Man when he came out of that cave a changed man and chose to become Iron Man. In Man of Steel, Clark Kent is supposed to become Superman after the death of his father, but he chooses not to. He doesn't become Superman until he's forced to by Zod. That is not a hero. So in Man of Steel, Superman is strong, but he lacks humility, compassion to anybody other than his mother or Lois Lane, and he's a flat character, reluctant hero. He doesn't make things happen to him. So despite all the great action, this movie doesn't work because Superman's poorly written. He's a dumb and indecisive hero. So I give it 2 out of 5 stars. Now let me touch on the team-up movie starring Superman as well. I try to be brief because Warner Brothers has made so many mistakes. This makes my head hurt, this recap of this stuff. Like Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman is a mess of a movie. Superman has learned absolutely nothing from the first movie. He's still a reluctant hero. He treats saving humanity sort of like a parent changing diapers. It's gotta be done, but you really don't like it. Batman is a dark character, and this Frank Miller inspired version is supposed to be even darker, but come on, he's just mean. He's branding people. What if the criminal he got just so happened to be African American? He's a white guy branding a black person. That would just be awful in so many ways. Lex Luthor is annoying. The Martha plot twist is stupid. And the movie's called Batman vs. Superman, and it's 2 hours and 30 minutes, but the actual time of them fighting each other is what, 10 minutes at best? There are a lot of hardcore DC fans that were saying that this movie was a masterpiece, and we just didn't get it because it was too dark and serious. Oh, we got it, we just didn't like it. So Batman vs. Superman gets 2 out of 5 stars from me. And then there's the theater cut of Justice League. We all know about all the disasters involving this, the death of Zack Snyder's daughter, how they had to bring in Josh Whedon to finish it. 1 out of 5 stars. Just destroy this movie, act like it never happened. Of course, there's the Snyder Cut, which is a very good film. Of course, they were too fast of a hurry to get to Darkseid, which was their 5th film, when Marvel took 19 films to get to Thanos' first full appearance. This is the 3rd appearance of Zack Snyder's version of Superman, and he had to kill him and resurrect him to get to the 3rd film to finally make him actually Superman, in terms of the essence of who the character is supposed to be. So to recap all the Superman live action movie appearances, I give Superman 1, 3 out of 5 stars. I give Superman 2, 3.5 out of 5 stars. I give Superman 3, 1 star. I give Superman 4, 1.5 stars. Superman Returns, it meant well, but it was kind of boring, so 2 stars for that. Man of Steel makes Superman an indecisive hero, so 2 stars. I give Batman vs. Superman 2 stars. Justice League, the first one, 1 star, and Justice League, the Snyder Cut, 3 out of 5 stars. So where are we at with Superman going forward? Where are we at with Henry Cavill as Superman? There was details that leaked in April of 2021 that there were 2 more Superman movies in development, but we haven't heard anything. And now there's rumors floating around that Henry Cavill is going to be the next James Bond, so we have no idea what's going on. And then there are stories floating around that Michael B. Jordan is supposed to be starring as Val Zod, an alternative universe Superman that's supposed to be in development for HBO Max. And in the comic, Jonathan Kent, who's the son of Superman, comes out as bisexual. It ticked off people on the political right because they thought they was trying to push a gay agenda, and it ticked off people on the political left because it looked like it was pandering to the gay community, just to sell comics, so nobody was happy. Ironically, when it comes to television, they've always done Superman justice, pun intended. The tone and the essence is there going back to the 90s to now. They've always got Superman right on television. But in comics, after publishing this character for over 80 years, I think they've run out of ideas. And in the movies, I just proved to you that we haven't had a Superman solo movie that's been universally acclaimed since Superman 2 in 1980. So you may be saying to yourself, okay, Comic Power, you're so critical of what Warner Brothers has done with Superman in the movies. How would you fix it? And the answer to that would be hire away the Russo brothers from Marvel. Don't worry about a connected universe. Let them write and direct the film that they want to do with creative control. Let's think about it. Their direction of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and of course in Civil War, was tremendous. And you got to consider that Captain America is a lot like Superman. Superman is a Boy Scout character that wears red and blue, believes in freedom, justice, and the American way, and was created in the golden age of comics. Captain America also is a Boy Scout character who wears red and blue, believes in freedom, justice, and the American way, and was created in the golden age of comics. So if the Russos could do Captain America and get him right, they could do Superman with no problem. So the Russos took the Captain America character and pushed the boundaries of how far they could take him without breaking the character. But he was always tough, fair, and smart. But Zack Snyder broke Superman from the beginning. He was tough, but he definitely was not fair, and he definitely wasn't smart. So in saying that, I love the Superman character. He is the archetype for every superhero after him. He deserves to be treated better than what Warner Brothers is doing with this character. It is really a shame that they own it because they have no idea what they are doing. So I know I gave you a lot to chew on in terms of this video. So please go to the comment section and let me know, what do you think? Do you think I'm dead on about how awful Warner Brothers is? Do you agree with me on how to fix the Superman character in terms of the movies? Is there some other idea that you would do if you were in charge of Superman? Please go to the comment section and let me know. You know the drill. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share these videos on social media so others learn about the Comic Power channel. And once again, thank you to my subscribers and my viewers who support Comic Power. Check out some of my previous videos about Superman, such as who do I think that Henry Cavill should play if he joins the MCU, and the video I made celebrating Superman when he turned 80 years old in 2018. And let me reiterate, I love the Superman character, but I hate what Warner Brothers has done with him in the movies over the last 40 years. Until next time, this is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye.